Take a look at these two images. One was processed using an expensive paid workflow involving Photoshop and monthly subscriptions plus plugins. The other was processed 100% for free using open source tools. Can you tell which is which? The gap between free and pro software used to be massive, but in 2026, thanks to some game changing updates to Siril, that gap has almost disappeared. Today, I'm going to show you the easiest, cheapest way to process your astrophotography images. We are doing a scientific face off, the modern free workflow versus the paid giant, and at the end, I'll reveal which image is which. When you're starting out, forums will scream at you to buy PixInsight. It's an incredible tool, but it costs hundreds of euros, 300 to be exact, and the learning curve is like a brick wall. Or they'll tell you to get a Photoshop subscription. But do you need them? My goal today is to find the path of least resistance. We want a clean image, good colors, and tight stars without spending a dime. Let's start with the free contender. We are using Siril, but not the old way. We are using the modern workflow with two specific plugins, GraXpert and Veralux. I've already stacked the data. If you don't know how to stack, I have a separate guide for that. You can see the links in the description below. We are starting with the linear master file. First, light pollution. In the past, you had to export your image to external apps. Not anymore. I've linked GraXpert inside Siril. It uses AI to flatten the background. Look at that. The gradient is gone instantly. Next, we need real colors. We use color calibration. I prefer to do it manually. This isn't guessing. It sharpens up your colors and balances the background too. I'm going to use the Veralux stretch, which is pretty much one click. This is a magic trick, really. Now, the magic trick. Usually, stretching the histogram is where beginners ruin their stars. They get bloated and white. We are using the Veralux script. Boom, look at that. It stretches the nebula data, but protects the star highlights automatically. This used to take me about 20 minutes, and Siril just did it in 5 seconds. I do like to add an extra step in this. I like to separate the stars from the nebula or from the deep sky object, and then I stretch the deep sky object and return the stars to the image later. Now that your processing is sorted, you need good data to process. To help you get that, I've put together a free deep sky cheat sheet. It includes a guide to 50 lesser known nebulae, so you aren't just shooting Orion every night, plus my personal field checklist to make sure you never forget a cable again. It's free at the link in the description below. But wait, if Siril is that good, why do I still use Photoshop? Let's process the same data in my paid workflow. This involves more manual control. I'm using Photoshop. I can target specific reds in the nebula. I can run noise reduction filters like Noise Exterminator, which is another paid plugin I have. I can remove gradient with Gradient Exterminator, yet another paid plugin. The paid workflow feels smoother if you know what you're doing. But notice something? I have to make decisions at every step. The Siril workflow just works. So image A was the free Siril workflow. Image B was Photoshop. Did you guess correctly? They look nearly identical, right? Or do you agree with me that the Siril workflow produced a slightly better image with more contrast? I'd love you to comment below and tell me which you think is better, A or B, and why you think that. Here is the statistic that actually matters. To get this result in Siril using the modern workflow, I used 5 quick steps: removing the gradient, color calibration, star removal, the Veralux stretch, and then recompose stars. The total time, about 8 minutes. To get the result in Photoshop, I had to manually set levels, use Gradient Exterminator, remove the stars, create a star-only layer, curve stretch 3 or 4 times, run noise reduction, add the stars back, and adjust color balance. The total time, nearly 30 to 40 minutes. And that brings me to my verdict for 2026. The paid workflow gives me maybe 10% more polish and slightly better noise control if I buy expensive plugins. But for a beginner, do not spend the money yet. In order to get this better result, I have to spend a lot more time. In the two images you can see, I tried to do both of these processes relatively quickly in order to make a fair comparison. It wouldn't be very fair if I did the one really quickly in Siril and the other one took hours and hours to get it just perfect. The Veralux and GraXpert combo in Siril is faster, it's scientifically accurate, and it costs absolutely nothing. It allows you to focus on getting good data rather than fighting with software. I put links to the Veralux script, the Siril download page, and my cheat sheet in the description so you can try all this yourself. And remember, software can't fix bad data. If you want to know exactly how long you need to expose to get a clean image like this, you need to watch my previous video next, which was all about ideal exposure length. It breaks down the math of when is enough. So do check that out and see you in the next one.